Hey everyone, welcome to the Academy Consulting Podcast. My name is Erica.
And I'm Mike.
And today we're going to talk about an interesting topic.
Okay.
Character.
Character.
Okay, so what is it and how would you define it?
Well, you defined it in the lesson earlier this month, and I think you said it's who you are when no one else is looking. Is that right?
Yes. Is it the same as integrity?
Basically. I mean, they're close enough. I'm sure we could debate it forever, but sure enough, yes.
Okay.
It's who you really are. Your character is who you really are as a person.
Okay. And I think there's something interesting about this because if we ask you the question, who are you when no one else is looking? Gives you a good gauge to kind of measure where you're at as far as your character or your integrity, yes?
Yeah, exactly. And also even what we talked about in lessons too. Who are you even when things are going wrong, right? Because we all have our best selves when everything's going great and you're just happy and life is good. And then we have ourselves when things aren't going so well or going horribly wrong. But all that together is who we really are. And what our goal should be for ourselves is to be that same person all the time.
Yeah. I think one of the most impactful things I've ever learned from you is one time, I don't know how long ago, but I heard you do this explanation of the boat analogy. And this refers to how you treat people, in particularly the people you love the most, your spouse or your children. So could you just share that little story? Because I think it's so good.
Yeah, Erica's actually talking about a lesson that I teach at a marriage seminar that we do. And it goes kind of like this. This is unscripted, so I didn't know she was going to say this, but if you've ever been out and about with, for instance, your spouse or your loved one, sometimes you don't treat them as well as you would a stranger. And my example is this. I like to go boating a lot or fishing, and it can get frustrating at times, especially like at the landing. You're coming back in and it's wavy and there's this dock and it's got metal on it and you're afraid to scratch the boat and there's all these other people around watching and then they're screwing up as well. It can just be a bad scene at the ramp. And as you approach, you might tell the person you're with, if it's your spouse or your good friend, like you might holler at them, like, get the rope, or grab the dock, or whatever. And you're kind of short. I've done it. I know. However, my example is this. If instead of my wife being in the boat with me, if it was my friend's wife or a coworker or something else, I'd probably say it much differently. Like, oh, could you please grab the rope? Or watch out, protect the boat from the dock. I wouldn't holler it, I wouldn't be short, so I can control the way I speak. And it's kind of sad when you control the way you speak and you speak better to a stranger than you would to someone who's really important to you, like a good friend or a child or a spouse or whatever.
Yeah.
And I've done it. If this is a little bit, if I'm embarrassing you a little bit right now because you've done it too, so have I. I think everyone does, but we should try not to.
Well, and I would guess that a lot of people listening, because like you said, we're all guilty of this, but I think we do actually treat the people we love the most the worst. You know, you have a long day at work, you put up with coworkers or put up with whatever you put up with at work all day long, and you get home and it's like, oh, you can finally just like be yourself. But in that, sometimes the people you love the most get the worst version of you. And this really plays into this lesson and what we've been talking about in character and integrity, in that don't they really deserve our best?
Yeah, definitely. Of course they do. And I think we just think we can get away with it with a loved one.
Well, because we do, and they put up with it because they don't have a choice.
Right. And you could say it even like as far as like two people in a car and one's the navigator. Sometimes there's a bit of friction going on between the driver and the navigator. But put a stranger in the navigator's seat and it changes everything, right? And I think we just know that the stranger a new friend would never go out with us again if we treated him that way. But someone that we know really well, like a spouse, a child, a best friend, we just think everything's going to be okay. And it's awesome that it is. It's awesome that your people love you no matter what. But why wouldn't you want to treat them better than anyone else?
Yeah, and I hope that like just hearing what we've talked about thus far moves you a little bit closer to having more integrity and a better character inside of yourself, because that's super important. We counsel a lot of couples, and that is one thing that most of them actually deal with, that the way they get treated or the way they treat each other is different than how they would treat a best friend or a coworker or something like that. So
and often much different than how they treat each other when they're first dating. Right?
Yeah.
You're trying to show your best self all the time. Or at work, you might treat a boss really well, but but then someone that you oversee, maybe not nearly as well.
Yeah.
And let this be just a reminder to you that you just don't want to be like that. I think we fall into bad habits.
Yeah, well, and I think maybe we just need a wake-up call once in a while, and hopefully this maybe can be one for you. And as we talk about this kind of stuff, instead of just feeling terrible about yourself and giving yourself some negative self-talk, I would like to encourage you to instead make it into something positive and make it like a positive push to actually try to be a little bit different then.
Especially just like pick one situation. Maybe for you it is crabby in the boat, or when you're driving, or maybe it's with a certain coworker, whatever it is, whatever that one thing is for you. Try just to work on that one. You don't have to fix everything at once.
Yeah. You know that saying, actions speak louder than words? I think that actual saying is such a great way for us to measure our integrity, because we can tell someone who we are, we can try to get them to think a certain way about us by using our words. But you and I, we all know that our actions really do speak louder than our words.
Yeah. I have 2 grown sons, and as a dad, you try to teach them all the right stuff, and all the things around your household and in school and in church, all these things. And for my sons, the best integrity thing that I ever taught them was really simple, and it was by accident. We had gone to the Milwaukee Zoo, and when we got there, and I don't remember the exact ages, but it was like whatever, age 0 to 12 was one price, and age 13 was a few dollars more. I think it was $3 more. And it was my 2 sons and one of their friends, and my son we went because it was one of their birthdays, and he just passed whatever that age threshold was. And so we went to the counter and bought our tickets, and they asked how old everyone was, and I said the right ages. And as we walked away, and I paid the couple extra dollars, as we walked away, my son said, why didn't you say I was still 12 or whatever the age was? It would have been $3 cheaper. And I said, I wasn't thinking, it was just spur of the moment. And I said to him, I'm not selling my integrity for $3. There's so many things in life that are that way, where why would it be worth changing who you are as a person for $3, to save $3 to have to tell a lie? It's just not worth it. And that's what our character is. Like, who you want to be inside. Don't let anything affect that. You control that. You sleep with yourself every single night, and you want to go to bed proud of yourself.
Well, hopefully you want to go to bed proud of yourself.
Yeah,
proud of yourself,
I think you
right?
do. I think we all do. I think we can get into bad habits, or even if we're just not thinking, and you just quickly do something. Oh, save $3, sure. And it doesn't mean you're a bad person. It was just quick to save $3, and then maybe later you think, oh, maybe that was a little shady. I don't think we choose. If we have time to think about it, I don't think we choose to do the wrong thing. I think it happens spur of the moment. You're frustrated and you say something you wish you wouldn't have said, or what something pops up and you don't really think, you just react. I think it more happens that way.
Well, I do like your outlook on that, but I disagree. I think some people just actually think about it and still follow through and do the wrong thing, and that is just
We'll cut that out.
how some people are, right?
Just cut it out. You can stop.
That's
just
such
stop
a good
that.
thing.
Just stop. You can stop. Just stop. It's you control yourself. No one can make you do anything. You choose how you want to be.
Yeah, right.
Be the leader of your own life.
I have a similar example, and I'll make mine super short, but my kids will still talk about it. It was like one of those days you're in the store and you've been in there a long time. The kids are crabby, blah, blah, blah. I got out to the car and I was unloading the cart, and I realized there was like a lip liner or something that I hadn't paid for. And it would have been super easy. I got away with it, essentially, and it was hot. And I'm like, guys, we got to go back in and pay for this. And they still will talk about that. How, again, it was probably like $3, but I just couldn't live with myself thinking that,
I always pay for my lip liner too. I don't even know what to do with lip liner. Like, what? It's like before lipstick or after? Like, what does that do? That's maybe a different podcast, right?
Yeah, right.
I need to Google that. Let me ask you this, though, okay? If we're keeping it real, Erica, what is it for you that really challenges your character? What is it that pushes you to be someone you don't really want to be? Specific life thing of some sort? I know it's out of the blue. So
I don't know. I feel like I'm at a place in my life now where I just turned 45, and doing the work that we do here and meeting with clients and stuff, I have had to really like up my game and up my level of integrity and character, because I don't ever want to be a hypocrite, and I don't ever want to tell people to do something that I haven't done or that I'm not willing to do. And that challenges me all the time. If I'm trying to help other people be their best self, then I continually have to try to be my best self. And sometimes that's really challenging, because sometimes I just want to tell someone off, or I just want to not get out of bed in the morning, and I just want to like do what I want to do instead of, the hard stuff.
Yeah, and I like how you finish that with the hard stuff. This isn't necessarily easy.
No.
It isn't. To try to be the person you want to be all the time, it's tough sometimes, but it's worth it.
Why? Why is it worth it?
I'm full of flaws. I know it. No different than any other person. But I generally go to bed feeling like pretty decent about myself. Because I know that I've tried each day to be the man I want to be. That's my prayer like every morning. God, help me to be the man you want me to be. It's super short, super simple. But I know the man I want to be, and life just makes it super hard. All the different things that happen in life can make it super hard. You can just watch the news and it just ruins your day, right? There's so many things. So it's just for me, trying to be the man I want to be feels good.
Yeah.
It feels like sometimes you're like eating really well and exercising and doing all those things, and you get in this good groove and you feel good about yourself and feel healthy. It's the same way emotionally with this kind of stuff, or heart type of things.
Yes.
Where you just feel good about the person you're trying to be.
Well, and I think that's true. And obviously, we don't know where you guys are as far as what you believe in spiritually or with your faith. And for us, having a relationship with God kind of sets the bar to a certain level that we always want to try to strive to be more like that. So that helps, actually. It really does help, and it can make life a little harder sometimes, but doing the hard work actually gives you more peace and more satisfaction and just a lot more contentment in life, I believe, with that. Would you say?
Yeah, I would. And I'd also say that it changes kind of who wants to be around you and who you want to be around. If you're kind of a crabby jerk every time something doesn't go right, you attract other crabby jerks.
Well, that's a good thing, right? If you're questioning your character or wondering the kind of person you are, look at your 3 best friends. Look at your 3 best friends, because I pretty much can guarantee you're a bit like them. Would you agree?
Usually, yes.
Usually.
That is true. People say that, and it's true, but that doesn't mean it charts the course for the rest of your life.
Right.
If you want to be different, you can be different. Any moment you choose, you can be different. God tells us all the time in the Bible that it's just a choice that we make. We can be who we want to be, and you can allow Him to lead you, and He gives you really good advice. And as you do that, then you do it. You sort of repel some people, right? Because for instance, if you're choosing not to gossip, other people who gossip a ton just don't want to be around you. If people gossip a ton to you, that's because they know you like to gossip. But if you pull back from that and say, that's not who I want to be, those people aren't going to want to hang out with you because you're just not fun to gossip with anymore. But people of high character will be more interested in hanging out with you because you inspire them to be better as well.
Yeah, so if you are ready and wanting to make a lot of changes like that, we're here. This is what we do every day, all day long. We help people get from where they are to where they want to be. So if this is something that you want to explore a little more, our contact info is in the comments. Feel free to set up any time to chat. We'll always chat with you one time for absolutely nothing, and we would love to do that. So thank you so much for taking the time out to spend with us today, and we will see you next time.
See you next time.